from the capital city. Great. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's, episode, if you might call it, or experience, as some of our participants have said. Welcome to the Skill Acceleration Bootcamp 2.0, day 3. Today is all about didactic learning from top professionals from across the globe. We are sharing insightful, relevant, and powerful knowledge to help you upskill your brand, business, career in this rapidly evolving time. Day 3 of this Skill Acceleration Bootcamp is tagged the Career Clinic. So for us, we are all about, so Fonz is in the building. Amazing, Fonz, amazing. Thank you so much. You're muted, just in case you don't know, you're muted.
So, can you hear me now?
Whoa, I can hear you, Fonz. How are you doing?
Oh, fantastic! I'm doing fantastic. I've had a little bit of a challenging day today because we have some issue in the house, and so I've had to move to a kitchen, and yeah. But I'm fine. I'm here, and I hope you can hear me and you can see me. And I'm hoping we're gonna have a nice hour together now.
Most definitely, Fonz. Thank you so much for joining us. We can see you, we can hear you, we celebrate you, and we're particularly grateful that you can spare us this time, despite the challenging day, using the kitchen. So insightful, so inspiring. So we are welcome to today's episode of the Skill Acceleration Bootcamp 2.0. As you know, it is proudly brought together by Skill Factory Africa, and we're all about creating meaningful, sustainable experience and knowledge for youth across Africa, ensuring that they are equipped with the relevant skills that can help them make a sustainable living doing what they love. Today is day 3, and it is tagged the Career Clinic. And of course, it's a masterclass that is leveraging on the enormous benefits of media and, positioning ourselves for global visibility and dominance. It's titled How to Leverage Media to Sponsor and Advertise Your Business. Now, according to Statistics Online, Nigeria had more than 154 million internet users. The highest number reported in all of Africa as of 2020, which was followed by Egypt with 54.47 million users, and majority of web traffic in leading digital markets in Africa was generated from their mobile phones. So what it is that media, especially social media, is providing tremendous opportunities for individuals, businesses, institutes to grow their business and gain global spotlight and global visibility and relevance. And that's why we're excited that you could join us today with your wealth of experience to share your knowledge and, of course, inspire a new breed of African young change makers that will be gingered and fired up to make a sustainable living doing what they love. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my delight, it is my honor to introduce our facilitator for today, none other than Faz Shlema. I hope I got that right. Shilaima. He's the senior key account. And Franz, can you pronounce your name? Sorry.
Yeah. You finish off and then I'll reintroduce myself real quick.
Okay, great. Thank you. I had to go to YouTube to learn how to pronounce your name. So Fonz Shilaima is a senior key account manager at Google. Fonz is a versatile digital sales professional with 10 plus years experience across different industries, ranging from retail, startups, travel, finance, telco, and government, working at Google's EMEA headquarters in Dublin for the past 8 years. His passion is to help businesses of all sizes tackle the digital transformation challenges of today. Besides working with businesses, Fonz holds a passion for running design thinking workshops, studying languages, and traveling the globe. All the way from Dublin today, live, online, virtually, speaking to youth from across the African continent is the phenomenal Fonz Shilaima, and he's here taking us on how to leverage media to sponsor and advertise your business. So Fonz, I hand over the mic to you. Take it away and do what you know how to do best. We celebrate you.
That is wonderful. Thank you for the enthusiastic introduction. Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Franz Schleimer. So I repeat, Franz Schleimer. But you were quite there, like
Thank
fantastic.
you.
Um, and yeah, happy to have the chance to be here today. I'm correcting a little bit. I'm actually currently in Italy, but nevertheless, I'm happy to dial in from here. And yeah, maybe a little introduction to myself. As you've already mentioned, I'm currently working at Google as a so-called key account manager, meaning that I work with businesses of a certain industry, and I help them facilitate the digital transformation processes with a particular focus on the ads business. And basically, what we're trying to do in a nutshell is we're trying to help these businesses connect to the users who are ultimately also their clients in a much more efficient way, right? And maybe a little bit to my background. Yeah, born and raised in Austria, in the heart of Europe. Went to study in Italy and then in Denmark. After which I basically started working in finance. I relatively quickly realized that my passion lay elsewhere. I moved to the startup sector. Then I worked with two startups that are retailers um, for fashion. So actually, pretty high brand jeans is what they were selling, and I was basically building up the German speaking market for them. It was a French startup, and following that, I moved to Hamburg in Germany. I worked for the biggest European sports marketer. So that's basically a company that you can imagine is managing all the commercial parts of sport engagement. So, for example, in the German Bundesliga, they're managing about 7 football clubs, and they make sure that they have sponsors, and they make sure that they have hospitality areas, and they commercialize all of that, right? They also deal in TV rights, and I worked as a product management associate for them. After which I basically got really interested through talking with some friends about what Google is doing and how their value proposition basically works, and ended up working for Google, first with small and medium businesses throughout the German-speaking area. Then I worked for the UK market for a short while. Then I basically moved to the large customer segment in Switzerland, then in Austria, and yeah, I've worked with pretty much all verticalized industries that we have, which is a curse and a blessing. I would say a blessing mostly because you get a very big insight into how different business models work, into how the web and the internet is able to connect consumers with brands, to connect consumers with business offerings. And yeah, it gives you a very good chance to also help these businesses, really, right? Most of what we're doing, I mean, technically speaking, it's a sales role, but we refer to it as consultative sales. So as you or whoever is familiar with digital marketing probably well know, it's not something that you sell to someone because you think you do a sale and that's it. No, it's more complex than that, because ultimately the internet is transparent, and digital metrics are transparent. So basically, most conversations we have, be that on a small level or on a big level, circle around the question: if I invest €1, or if I invest $1, or if I invest £1 in a certain area, how much of a return is that going to give me? And typically we can measure that quite well, and hence the conversations we're having are very quantitative, and they're very numbers based, but they're also very creative because yeah, as you will later see, and I will try to give a little bit of an overview, that sort of thing is not always very easy. You need to know your way around the internet. You need to understand the customer journey. And to all of what I'm talking about today, to all of what I've talked about so far, I would say it's applicable to pretty much any business. Like I think a business, be that a very conservative, old family-owned business, or be that a young startup in an urban area, international or domestic, I think everybody is on the internet today. That's where you can find and meet your users. And that's why it's important to also understand it. And next to being sort of responsible for my clients, I also often see this as a little advocacy role, because I mean, as I said, I come from Austria. I currently work with Austrian clients. I would say, generally speaking, Austria is a relatively developed country. However, when it comes to digital channels, and when it comes to the internet, it's actually a lot more rudimentary, and people are often hesitant, and there's often not the skill. And I believe that in a globalized world where today you can relatively easily send a package from one country to another, from one continent to another, it is really important to be at the forefront here. And yeah, I mean, I often give the example. It's funny. I've also traveled throughout the continent of Africa quite a bit so far. And one thing that you notice is that typically the cell reception, like your phone reception, is a lot better. Like I can be in the middle of Germany somewhere, and oftentimes I'm going to be slightly disappointed because I don't really have good internet connection. But I can go pretty much anywhere in Nigeria, I'm sure, and I will have at least a good connection, if not better. And so I think this also shows that Africa is also a continent that oftentimes embraces these steps, and is where mobile, as you've mentioned, plays a more significant role, and that's why there's also a lot of innovation coming out of there. And yeah, I think that's a beautiful starting point. What I thought, and I think the setup for today was relatively open and flexible. So I thought I'm gonna explain a little bit what my role actually entails, what kind of projects I work on. But I would also bring something that we call it the future of retail. It's a sort of insights deck that basically is a very good example of how we also advocate our clients to think differently, where we try to put trends in front of them that they should really incorporate into the day-to-day. And yeah, I would suggest I'll maybe get started on that. Then I can say a bit more about it, and then I'd be happy to also take any questions that you guys might have, be that about my job, be that about Google in general, be that about anything you guys would be interested in. But I'm gonna briefly share my screen. Give me 1 second. All right. Here we go. Contact. No, you cannot hear me. Wait a second. Can you hear me?
Yes, Fons, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm back. Strangely enough, whenever I share something, it automatically unmutes me, which is something I've not really had before. Let me try this again under. Okay, let me see. Ah, your screen sharing. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Fons, loud and clear.
Okay, but do you have any idea what the issue could be here with the screen sharing? Like when I share my screen, my audio, it tells me you cannot screen share and project
And
audio
speak.
at the same time. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Sorry, it's the skill factory that have we witnessed this since we started. I would suggest you can log out and log in again, just because that's not supposed to be happening.
Yeah, let me just quickly see how we can figure that out. Otherwise, I mean, I can just tell you something without my slides as well. That's not the biggest problem, but let's give that another try. 1 second.
Sorry, please. I noticed before you, remove your slides, we could hear you few seconds before you remove your slides. So I don't know. We could hear you.
Yes, we could hear you. Actually.
Yeah, exactly. But then, yeah, but the moment I show my slides, you can still hear me.
Yes, we did. A few seconds before the slides went off,
it tells me all right. See, this is technology. Because I have a red bar here that tells me your audio is disabled while you present. So let's see. I'll present again. Maybe if you can give me a sign that you actually see my slides and you can still hear me talk.
Great. No. 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 So we couldn't hear you when the slide was up. We couldn't hear you. We can't hear you. Sorry, when your slides are off, we can't hear you. I think that's a technical challenge. No, we can't hear you.
All right. In the interest of time, I mean, it's bizarre because, so generally speaking, at Google we're using Hangouts, and I'm quite happy to usually do that. We do use Zoom because we have a lot of clients that like to do that, and I never have problems doing it. But seemingly today that's an issue. However, I'm gonna go through a few things that you would see on the slides, and I'm happy to possibly share the PDF afterwards so you can actually have a look yourself. Yeah, that's basically it. So what I wanted to talk about was the future of retail in the way that we as Google talk about it with our clients at the moment, right? And that basically incorporates all the behaviors that that users and potential consumers and clients of our clients do on the internet, right? And the first section I would have talked about was basically that demand is dynamic, right? So I don't know who of you is aware of that, but about 15% of searches on Google every day are brand new. They're searches that have never been typed into Google before. And every day, 15% of all the searches are actually entirely new, right? So our suggestion is to be very conscious of that and to leverage all the tools that we have to really see how the way that users nowadays are searching.
As far as I'm concerned, if
Hello?
Yes, fans, we can hear you. Sorry for the interruption. It's been cleared. You can continue.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, exactly. So they're brand new, and I think this is something that every business should be conscious about and should be constantly evolving in the way that they address the amount of people that they're actually trying to reach online, right? And I think most importantly here is that Google search, I don't know how you use it. Everybody has their own way of using it, but the reason why it is so powerful to businesses and the reason why it is so powerful to pretty much any business is that it shows the intent of people, right? I can have an advertisement on a billboard, I can have an advertisement in TV, but I'm in that moment not proactively looking for something. While search shows intent, and if 15% of the intent signals that people give every day are brand new, then this is a source for innovation, then this is a source for new customer demand, and then this is something that businesses should actually care about. Secondly, digital inspiration. So we saw, and this is a very special insight from this year, we saw a 60% increase in Google image searches for ideas. So people are actually using the image search a lot more this year than they have last year. And this is a trend that we've been seeing for quite a while. And by itself, it also doesn't tell us very much, but it also shows us that people are very visual. It shows us that you have to kind of make sure that you offer them a visual image when they're looking for something. And by itself, it's again just an insight, but in a customer conversation, in a conversation with somebody who's trying to sell something online or is trying to just bring his idea out there, this is another insight, and
we're gonna get into how to combine this a little bit later. So another one that you would have seen on the slide now is that about 70% of all shoppers that have been surveyed in a survey in 2020 said that they've bought from a brand after they've seen a YouTube video from this brand, right? So this goes to show again, and I don't know how many people are aware, but YouTube is actually the second biggest search engine in the world. So you have Google and then you have YouTube, and a lot of people are leveraging YouTube. And I mean, I can speak for myself. That's how I certainly use it. Like if I want to learn something, I first type it into YouTube and I see how somebody else does it. If I want to buy something, I type it into YouTube and then I see how the product looks, feels, how people interact with it. Like there's endless possibilities. So it's a very, very powerful thing, not just to produce content and to teach people, but it's also important that anybody who is trying to sell something is present in this space. And I'm not talking even about ads. I'm talking about, you know, the sole sensibility that you can provide some useful content to whoever is out there, and it might be a very valuable thing for the brand that you're trying to create. So far to these general search insights. Then I would have gone to a section called counting on convenience, and this is very much related to the pandemic, because this has been one of the most disruptive things that the retail sector has experienced in the past couple of years. I'm currently working with a lot of retailers, and I don't know how the situation pinned out in Nigeria exactly, but for us it really much meant there were lockdowns, stores had to close, people or businesses that were relying on their physical stores could not get clients to join those stores anymore. And there were those that were very well in operating online and doing e-commerce and ticking all those boxes, oftentimes digital native businesses that have never done anything else. But then there were all these traditional businesses, of whom many I still work with, that were really, really struggling, and for them it was a little bit of an existential crisis already. However, not to get derailed too much, next slide would have been the searches for available near me have grown over 100% year over year. That means double the amount of searches has been conducted on search terms related to available near me, right? So that means people are searching not just for products, but when they're going somewhere, and that's actually a little bit of a bad example here because I just talked about the pandemic. Nevertheless, there is still this insight that available near me is something that is being searched much more, and we can discuss in a little bit what that means. But it just means that people are using their phones while they're on the street, and they want something instantly, and then they would type in something like that. Then another one is searches for curbside pickup have grown 3,000%. So that's something that I personally, I've had many discussions about. It's something that is very logic. Like when you have to close a store, but maybe you can have people pick something up at the store, then you as a business should try as hard as you could to actually offer curbside pickup, right? Many businesses maybe don't do it because they don't have it on their radar, but the search insights tell us that it's grown 3,000%. So it would, and I'm talking globally here, so you could look at this from a country to country basis, but most countries I've thought about this year have experienced something very comparable. And so we spend a lot of time talking to our customers, making them aware of the fact that people are looking for these pickup opportunities. If they want to still profit from this, then maybe they should try to implement it within their physical locations, within their stores. And so this is also a good example of how we provide an insight to our clients that then, obviously not all of them, but many of them put into practice. And the funny thing is, even way after the lockdown ended, or the second lockdown ended, curbside pickup is still being leveraged very much. So I think it's changed for not all of them, but for many businesses, the way that they interact with their clients, and that's also a very valuable thing. Then search interest for delivery is the highest on Sundays, right? So don't know if that's surprising, but it's an insight. So if you are a business that cannot offer delivery every day, or that was not aware of that yet, or that is just struggling to keep the turnover high on a Sunday, then this is a really valuable insight as well. And I'm just giving a couple of examples, but it's really search and search behavior that tells us so much about the people. I'm gonna give another example that is not even on the slides, but basically in most of Europe, and I'm sure also in Africa, Google has actually worked together with a lot of the governments to kind of measure the activity of people in order to understand how the mobility of people is actually influenced during the pandemic. Because, you know, if people move a lot, like let's say a lockdown is the extreme case. A lockdown basically means that people should be home and should move much less. And you can see that by, and these are publicly available reports that I can also share the links to. For a lot of countries, there's the mobility reports where basically Google looks at how much do smartphones move around with a logged-in account. They don't look at where they go, but they definitely understand how much distance do they cover in a day. And if you see that mobility is down 90%, then you can say, okay, it's probably a lockdown, and probably the lockdown works. But I'll give you an example of Austria, for example, where basically we've had 3 lockdowns, and that worked very perfectly during the first lockdown. And then we had the second lockdown, and the mobility went down less. And we had the third lockdown, and people clearly didn't care about the lockdown so much anymore, and they just went back to moving around. But this is something that you don't know. You don't have a data point to really prove it. You have a feeling, maybe, you know, the streets are busier, but you don't really have it. But then you look at this mobility report and you see all the smartphones are moving around. So clearly people are moving around. So clearly it's not working as well. And yeah, it's just another example of one of these data points that are actually very valuable. All right, and this brings me to a different category, supportive spending. So another thing, a statistic that I can give you is that 71% of people prefer buying from companies that are aligned with their values. So one thing that we've seen in terms of searches this year, ethical online shopping and queries related to ethical online shopping have grown 600% year over year. So 6 times more. That's huge. So for me as a business and for clients I work with, I'm going to give them this insight that, you know, if they are not really using this in their brand identity, if that's not something they care about yet, maybe it is something they should be caring about, because this is a segment that is growing immensely. And if you don't have products or value chains or whatnot that would fit this criterion, then maybe now is a good time to actually think about it. And this is a good example. I will give you another one, not that I would have that is in this report, but it is one that I've actually personally done with a client. So I have a client that is working on refurbished electronics, and they're basically retailing them. It's a marketplace, and they are now trying to get into circular fashion because they've realized that the business model that they have is very adapted to this, and we gave them the insight that this sustainable fashion demand is growing crazy, and people are trying to recycle their fashion if they're trying to buy higher quality, but therefore also it keeps well longer, so there's a market for reselling it. And this is something that is growing in the thousands of percent at the moment, at least in Austria. That's the data I've seen, and that's why I think these are super valuable things. And I don't know how much time you guys have, and I don't know which roles and responsibilities you guys have in your jobs right now. But one thing I would recommend to everyone is really to get familiar with Google Trends, because it's a free and open platform, and you can pretty much have all the statistics about search data at the fingertip, and you can really start developing an understanding of, how the demand for a certain thing, a certain service, maybe also how the public sentiment towards something is developing. And that's why Google Trends is a super valuable resource, and I've linked it later on in this presentation anyway. Yeah, then I would have shown you a beautiful graph that basically shows that the the US retail sector, and this is again an example, but you could spin this out for various different markets. The global retail sector has grown by 6% in 2020. That's the most it has grown in the last 10 years. That's 6%. That's not a lot, it seems at first, but it is the most it has grown in the last 10 years. And it's fueled it's fueled in big parts by e-commerce, because global e-commerce growth has been 44% in that same time. And I think this is, excuse me, needed to have a sip of water there. I think this is indicative of another conversation I often have. We work with big companies. These companies are oftentimes very traditional. They've been using lots of a huge store network, physical stores for a long time. They've gotten into e-commerce, but e-commerce is really not their expertise, nor is it their biggest interest. So they kind of, treat it a little bit as a second-class thing. And this is the kind of data that, if you bring it down to a specific market or a specific region or a specific product, it can be really valuable in understanding, in your business strategy, you should be putting more resources, and you should be putting more talent, and you should be putting more budget to actually fuel your e-commerce part. And times like the pandemic also show that whoever has been in the e-commerce space or was able to quickly pivot in that direction was having much better numbers over the past 2 years in reality. I think this is also a valuable insight to give. And then I would have gone from these insights to the 3 imperatives And the three imperatives are: act on unexpected truths. So examples that I just gave are nice insights, but you also have to turn them into action in some way, right? And this is oftentimes easier said than done. And I would have given you some cases here now, but this would have been a lot easier if I had the slide deck / there's also a video. But in the interest of time and in the interest of keeping this smooth, I'm gonna share this with you guys afterwards, and this is publicly available. So feel free to actually look it up, and then probably these concepts are gonna make a little bit more sense. So number one, act on unexpected truths. Number two, reach people where they are at the moment. So another example, I've been talking a lot about search now, because search, as I said, is very indicative. But obviously, like if you are a business, your potential customer is not just searching; they're everywhere. They're out and about. They are surfing the internet as well. They're also on YouTube. They're watching TV. They're reading books. It's important to think in the sale of a good service product in a holistic way. So I give you an example. Again, I work with a lot of retailers. Retailers tend to, especially when they do digital marketing, they tend to look very much at the last click. So they have a set of different campaigns, but in reality, what they have is one campaign that generates a lot of clicks, from which people actually go to buy. And this is good, and probably if you're quite naive, you would say, okay, I put much more money behind that because this really brings me a lot of sales. But these clicks would have not happened had there not been interactions before. Had there not been, I don't know, this little ad on a newspaper, or had they not talked to their friends that have advocated for something, or had they not seen an ad on YouTube, had they not seen a review on some website by some independent reviewer. There's thousands of combinations of how we as consumers form our mind up about a product, and this so-called buying cycle, or customer journey, as I like to refer to it, is individual. It is different for each and every one. But as business owners, as marketeers, as salespeople, what we should really think about is, how does my most common customer journey look like? And then I should try to pivot in that direction. Again, this is in theory very easily said. In practice, this is a lot harder to do. But I think this is also something where your generation and our generation can actually add super much value, because this is something that takes a lot of creativity. This takes a lot of ability to actually find, understand, and interpret data. And this is why, I would say the second imperative for successful retailers is reaching people where they are. And this is important. So the third one is turning your customers into fans. So oftentimes we and this is the most difficult one to explain, because you need to see it, you need to feel it in order to understand it. But you can do as a business, you can do things differently. And I'm going to give you an example. We've seen a lot of successful cases where businesses, especially operating digitally, have brought the human element back into what they're doing, right? So as an example, I haven't worked directly, but I have a colleague that worked with one of the biggest sunglass retailers in Europe. And what they've implemented is basically a human assistant. So you go there and you can basically pop up a screen, and then there's an actual live feed video person on the other side, and they're having a conversation with you, and you can ask them all sorts of questions. You can ask them, about what material these glasses are from, if they're sustainably sourced. You can ask them, do you have this in 2 sizes bigger as well, or is this model a uni-size, blah blah. It is bringing the classic human interaction that is still very valuable. And I will hit you with another fact at the cost or at the danger of confusing you a little bit, but we talk a lot about omni-channel. Omni-channel means to combine the online world with the offline world, which is the reality for most businesses. And being able to bridge this gap is fundamental in so many ways. And actually having a salesperson on the internet, but being able to real-time communicate with them is a perfect example of how to bridge the omni-channel gap. And this is one example, but it is very, very indicative of how this is a place that, if you've ever been there and you've ever bought glasses from them and you've ever had this conversation with this person on the internet, and it was so seamless and so easy, it creates trust. And this is the kind of way in which you can just be different than your competitors, and in which you can then potentially create a fan base, in which you can also differentiate yourself in a different way than just by price. And this is especially important for businesses that are maybe not the biggest in their field and that are not the longest standing ones in their field. As I said, I work a lot with startups as well, and the younger and the more the younger you are, the fewer resources you have, the more creative you have to be in order to be able to remain on the market. And that's why I think this is a pretty valuable insight as well. All right, let me just quickly see. Here I had some cases. So I'm going to repeat 3 imperatives for retailers. Number 1, act on unexpected truths. Number 2 is reach people where they are. And number 3 is turn customers into super fans and offer them a differentiated, trusted experience. So I think in the interest of time, I'm going to leave it at that. I will provide you with these. I will provide you with these slides in the aftermath, and I would ask you to think about them a little bit and potentially look at all these cases. So I personally, in my job as a salesperson, I've seen or I've talked to many businesses, and in my experience, it's always been the easiest to find a good case, because pretty much anything you can try someone to get, or anything that you want to implement yourself, has been implemented by somebody else in some shape or form. And having a case is very valuable for this. And we have a platform at Google, and it's called Think with Google. And besides talking about, industry trends such as the ones I've been talking about today, it also hosts a huge case database. And if you are ever in front of any business case, I would just invite you to check out this platform. It's ordered in a geographical way, so you can check for a continent and then a country, and you will see different cases how businesses have solved different challenges in the past. It's a very good source of inspiration, I would say. And if I can give you one other advice, it is to actually leverage Google Trends, as I've said before. It's sometimes even just fun to play around with it, right? As you said, like in Nigeria, the mobile phone depth is so high. The people are so mobile, hence they will also search a lot, and it will be a very good gateway into the soul of the Nigerian people, I would say. Yeah. So far from me. Is there any questions from you guys at this point?
Okay, thank you so much, Franz. That was an amazing, insightful, sharing session. Despite the technical challenge, we are so happy that you could still navigate as the expert that you are and deliver such insightful and interesting, I dare say. So thank you so much, everybody. Please, a resounding applause in the chat box. Let's show him how Africans do it. We are hyper, we are fun, bring the ginger on. Use the chat box to, say thank you. Thank you so much, Franz, for that amazing presentation. Do we have any questions? You know how we do it here. You raise your hands and we'll just, call on you to... You can use the raise hand button to raise your hand if you have any question for fans. But before then, just to reiterate the 3 imperatives for retailers, he said, act on unexpected truth, reach people where they are, and turn your customers into super fans. The platform, he said, you can leverage on are Google Trends. He said, get familiar and leverage on Google Trends. You can also hop on Think with Google to, get case studies of what businesses are doing, how they navigated, what they did wrong, what they did great, and just, build your knowledge bank and build an encyclopedia of knowledge and experience that you can now reinforce or use in your business. So do we have anybody who have a question for fans? Please. He said you can ask him any question as it regards his personal, what he has done, Google background as he shared earlier. So do not be shy to use this opportunity. Google is in the building. So please use the opportunity and ask questions. Do you have anyone who wants to ask a question?
Aside from that, I'm also going to happily share my LinkedIn. So in case anybody at this later stage feels they have any questions or even is interested to ever work at Google, then feel free to reach out, and then I'm happy to take some time.
Wow, I don't know if you guys heard that. Thank you so much. It can only happen at the Skill Factory Africa. It's only here you can get it.
Skill Factory Africa, that's where it's at, exactly.
Yes. Okay, awesome. So I think we have our next speaker, and I think there are no questions. There are no questions from this end. Thank you so much, fans. Please, you can use the chat box to drop your LinkedIn as well, as we're going to share it with you. We look forward to your slides, and we are going to share your slides. Thank you so much for taking out time from your busy schedule to be here with us in person. Like I said earlier, we celebrate you. Thank you. I don't know if you have any... Every participant can just unmute yourself and tell fast from your mouth how grateful you are for joining.
Thank you.
Please, let's say thank you. Show him the ginger. Give him ginger. So that when he leaves now, he will remember us.
Thank you.
Thank you. So fans, real quick, So much real quick, we're going to take a picture. Real quick. So everybody, can everybody unmute yourself? Let's take a picture. Fans, real quick. So real quick, can we all turn on our video cameras? Fans, are you still in the building? Okay, great. He's still here. Fans, Shilaima, Shuma. I tried. No, fantastic. Unmute yourself.
Something is not right with my Zoom today. But I said fantastic. I barely could hear the difference, so it's all grand.
Oh, thank you. This I had to go the extra mile to make sure I can pronounce it. Okay, so pictures, another one. Let's all smile to the camera. They're taking the pictures now. Please take another picture, smiling. Great. Picture taking. Thank you so much, Paz. We wish you an amazing day. And we hope you sort out your Zoom challenge. Thank you from all of us at Skill Factory Africa and all of us at the bootcamp and all of us in Africa. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you and have a super fantastic day. My name still remains Phenomenal Blessed Nabani Elem, and it was a delight to moderate this session. Remember the 3 imperatives for you. Act on unexpected truth, reach people where they are at the moment, and turn your customers into super fans. Thank you. Our next speaker is in the building, and I want to pass the mic on. First, bye. You can leave the Zoom meeting now. Ciao. We love you all the way from Africa, Nigeria. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been an exciting, didactic learning, and you agree with me that fans dropped gems. Remember to act on them. I'm going to handing over the mic now to the moderator of the next session to take on this exciting learning experience. I love you all, and it's your girl, Phenomenal Blessed Nabani, signing out. Thank you. Handing the mic on to the next moderator. Take it away and do a super fantastic job. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Blessing, for that session. Thank you so much. God, Blessing, thank you so much. That was seriously amazing. Thank you so much. All right, so my name is Paul Oyewusi, and I'll be moderating the next session. Guys, I believe you have been learning. I believe you have been getting value. From day one till this very moment, you've been getting so much value. And if you can hear me, please let me know. Just put it in the comment section. Let me know you can hear me, that I'm loud and clear, so I can go ahead. I'm waiting. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Let me see. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for that. All right. So today we are, this is the career clinic. And if you are a career professional and you want to make greatness out of your career, you want to become the best at what you do, you know, in Nigeria, we are very big on 9 to 5. And I believe that many of us in here are in our 9 to 5, and some of us are doing businesses, you know, by the side. But today we'll be talking about this particular evening, we're talking about positioning for global opportunities. And I believe that you are so interested in that. You see yourself working in Google, working in Meta, the former, that's Facebook, you know, not changed to Meta. You see yourself working in McKinsey, in international organizations. And today we'll be looking at how to position yourself for global opportunities. And in our midst today, we have someone who have done this over and over. She has helped professionals position themselves for global opportunities. Miss Chinyere Okorocha. So guys, can we just put it in the chat box, just drop some fire that you are ready, you are good to go before I read her profile, and then she takes it from me. Can you drop it in the chat box, just drop some fire that you are ready for this session? I'm waiting. All right. The profile is the profile is so massive, man. So massive. Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for the fires. I'm waiting for more fires. Please, guys. Thank you. We are so pumped up. Yeah, we are so pumped up. All right, so let me read the profile of our guest speaker. Wow. Guys, just calm down. And let me take the profile one step at a time. So don't rush. Tell your neighbor virtually, don't rush. All right. So Chinyere is a partner and I'm head of sectors at Jackson, Eti, and Edu. a top-tier firm headquartered in Lagos, Nigeria, and has over 29 years practical experience, covering varied areas of law. Her career currently entails her hands-on experience in business leadership, strategic thinking, vision setting, and problem solving of client diverse needs. Her role also extends to be responsible for the firm's strategic vision and implementation of same along 6 sector lines. Also, hold on a second, please. Okay. Also, she aids with the policy making and execution of appropriate strategic sessions to ensure the overall growth and sustainability of the firm. Having started her career immediately after school and now at the pinnacle, Chinyere has surmounted the challenges associated with building a successful career. I bet that is true. Attaining a work-life balance and embracing the necessary diverse role changes along the way. She speaks regularly at workshops, seminars, and conferences locally and internationally on varied topics of interest, with a passion for assisting young professionals reach their potential, full potential, particularly in the workplace. Chinyere founded and runs a career mentorship program called Hills and Ladders. If you are not part of Hills and Ladders, man, it's for females particularly, though. I know what I see a lot of what they do there, and I can say, man, they're doing so much in that community, where she provides inspiring and motivational guidance and career mentorship for young women climbing up the career ladder. In conclusion, she's an accomplished lawyer. She is highly respected by her peers, and over the course of her career, she has numerous accolades and recognition, including appointment as Vice Chairperson, Nigerian Bar Association Women's Forum, where she is responsible for implementing various programs and initiatives to empower Nigerian female lawyers for success. She is a past council member and treasurer, Nigerian Bar Association, section on business law, and the inaugural chairperson, Intellectual Property Committee, NBA as well, section on business law. Chinyere is a patron of the Law Society, Faculty of Law, University of Lagos. Wow. A member, Dispute Resolution Panel, Nigerian Copyright Commission, and was recently nominated as one of Nigeria's 20 outstanding female lawyers in business law by Business Day newspaper in December 2020. Amazing, amazing. Guys, keep dropping the fire as I'm saying all of these things. Thank you. So massive, man. So massive. So in conclusion, because I've been saying the conclusion saying the thing is so massive, man. Okay, so she's also ranked Chambers Global 2016 to 2021 as a leading individual in IP in Nigeria. And finally, as well, she is recognized as an expert in Who is Who Legal Nigeria 2017 to 2021, to mention a few, guys, to mention a few. Somebody type in the comment section, say to mention a few. Before I move, I said to mention a few. I'm waiting, just type it there to mention a few, to mention a few. After all we have read, to mention a few. I'm waiting, someone just type that in the comment section for me to mention a few. Okay, all right. Thank you so much for joining us today, Chinyere Okorocha. Thank you so much, Ma, for being part of us. It's a big privilege to have you in here, and we are so ready. Yes, guys, thank you very much. To mention a few. So if you forget anything today, don't forget to mention a few. We have someone amongst us here that is very great in that field, and she's ready to let us know how we can position ourselves in our career, for global opportunities. For those on YouTube, thank you for joining in. And for those right here on Zoom, thank you for joining in. So Chinyere Okorocha, you have the floor. Thank you so much. You can unmute yourself. You are muted. You're muted.
Thank you so much for that fantastic introduction, I meant to say. Thank you, Paul, for that wonderful introduction. I was kind of looking like, who are they talking about here? Is it me?
Yeah, exactly, you know.
Yes, it's me. I'm owning that introduction. And that's what I want each and every one of you to take away today, that when you're being celebrated, Stay and accept the celebration. Don't be like, no, you can stop. No, I want you to own it because you have earned it. And I know that I have earned it. So thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here. Skills Factory Africa. Well done to all the organizers. You know, it's really great to be here. So I am going to be talking about, you know, positioning yourself for, I guess, international opportunities. And I do have a PowerPoint. Do I have permission to share?
Yes,
can
please.
Okay, so.
In a second, I'll make your notes.
Okay.
Please go ahead. You're not notes.
I can go ahead. Now. Okay.
Yes, please.
All right. Share screen. Okay, so where are we? Here we are. Okay, and slideshow. Just give me a minute. Okay. Oh, this is the end. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's go all the way to the beginning. So if you can see it, just let me know that you can see it. Right? Paul, just let me know. Can you see the slides that are up?
Yes, please. I can see professional branding for multinational opportunities.
Okay, wonderful. So multinational opportunities and professional branding. You see, one of the things that I have found, okay, let's do some interaction first. How many men do we have here and how many women? Just, you know, roughly, let's see. How many men and how many women do we have here today? It would be nice to have a sense of who is in the room. You know, just so that I can tell who can do a quick, is it half and half? And then what level or what stage are we in our careers? You know, if I might, you know, just ask. Mid-level, senior level, one to 5 years, you know, postgraduate, 10 years. You could just put something in the chat box to guide me, and that will help me to get a sense of who is in the room, you know. But insofar as you have signed up for this 4 days, I think it is, of immersion into various topics that will help you position yourself, I mean, I give you kudos for doing that. So for those of you who don't know me, like Paul said, I'm Chinyere Okorocha. I am a lawyer by profession. I've been practicing law for 30 years this December. I know it sounds unbelievable, but I've been 30 years since I started work. And I found that as my career progressed, my role changed, you know, particularly for women. The Hills and Ladders Mentorship Club I run is particularly for women, but I assure you that I've got loads of men that I mentor too, because the principles are somewhat the same. It's just that women have additional tips and tricks that they need to take interest in. So mid-level, thank you very much. You know, so you know, as a young person in Africa, because I know this is across Africa, trying to make their mark, sometimes we forget that it's not just about what you know. It might be about how you position yourself. Sometimes you might be fantastic in what you do. You are efficient, you know the stuff, you had a 2-1 in school, you know, or a 2-2 or whatever, or even a 3rd class, you know, but you're smart, you know, but you're smart and you're in your own space. You're smart and you're in your job being smart, and nobody knows about this smartness. Nobody knows that you exist. And so my talk today is around how to brand yourself as a professional. if I was speaking to only the women, I know that women find it very difficult to put themselves in the public eye, maybe due to criticism and all that. Men are much better at it because men, take the bull by the horns and they go for it. But in some instances, you're not positioning yourself properly. And one thing I always say is that whether you choose to create a personal brand or a professional brand or not, one will be created for you behind your back. So whether you want a brand or not, or you have taken steps to create a brand, the public perception of who you are exists and it is real. And it's therefore very important that you are the one that takes time to create that perception that you want. And that's what we'll be talking about today. So some of the things we're going to be going through are, there'll be, of course, a general introduction. I'm going to take you through what exactly is personal branding or professional branding. We're going to look at your curricula vitae as a branding tool, and obviously a difference between what your profile is and actually what, let me put on my air fan or air conditioning. We're going to look at that. We look at various branding tools, visibility. How visible are you? You are so good at your job, you're smart, you're intelligent, but nobody knows. You're not positioned to be seen. And then how to equip yourself. And then at the end of it, I'll take some questions. But at the core of everything you do as a professional, it's to know yourself. Who are you? That question, I want everybody to type in the box, who are you or who am I? I want everybody to type in the box. I usually make my classes interactive, so please bear with me. I'd like you to type in the box, who am I? Who am I? Because a lot of us are going around and we really don't know who we are. We're pushed by the wind. Anything that comes our way, it pushes us in one direction and it pushes us in the other direction. We just flow with the crowd. We have no plan. We have no professional plan. We have no career plan, no career blueprint. We're just moving with the times. So do you really know who yourself? Have you taken time out to determine what exactly are my strong points? And what exactly are my weaknesses? And I don't always like to say weaknesses. I say things we're not so good at. Because the truth is, if you focus a lot of your energy on your strengths and make them even more powerful, you will excel. And that's why athletes practice day in, day out. If you think about those who are practicing for the Olympics, for example, they do nothing else but practice their craft from morning till night. You guys that are footballers here, or about football, it's the same thing. Practice does make perfect. So what are those things? Have you done the exercises? Have you done a personal SWOT analysis to tell you that these are the things I'm strong at and these are the things I'm not so good at? Have we identified what our core values are? Because sometimes in life, when we try to set goals for ourselves, like to say, I want to move to the United States as an analyst, that can be a goal. But one of your core values is family, and your wife and your children are resident in Nigeria, and your core value is family, then you're putting a goal that makes you leave the family. Sometimes, if you haven't thought it through properly and created a proper plan, you will self-sabotage unconsciously. Because when the opportunity comes, you may even find reasons why you can't move to the next state. Maybe I should have used America as the example because everybody wants to move to America, right? But get the point. Your core values are those things that are inherently important to you. They're the things that resonate strongly with you, and they're formed from your upbringing, your parents' values, the environment where you grew up. All these things form who you are, whether you're a stickler for time, whether you're flexible, whether you are a Christian and your spirituality means so much to you, whether money is important to you, whether appreciation and accolades, the various core values and the exercises that you should go through to identify what your core values are. Because when you identify the things that are core to you as your values, then you will set goals that are achievable and you'll be able to align your goals with your core values. And so what do you really want out of your career? What do you really want out of your career? You have to sit back and actually take steps to identify what you will and will not tolerate where you are. You have to establish what the skills and experiences you have, that set you apart from everybody else. Sometimes they are also strengths. And okay, part of the presentation is blocked. So let me just try and move this away. Yes, and then your personal brand. Your personal brand. And we're going to dwell a lot on that today because we are trying to position ourselves for multinational opportunities. That is those big conglomerates, those Fortune 500 companies, the S&P 500, those big organizations that, like Google, I caught the tail end of the last presentation or the last speaker. We want to make ourselves attractive so that when Google is hiring, they see us. We position ourselves where they will see us. And that's what this is about today. Okay, so are you with me? If you're with me, give me maybe a thumbs up in the box or something that tells me that, yes, madam, I hear you loud and clear. And I am watching the box, even though I'm presenting. So if you're not giving me fire, I want to see the fire and the hearts in the chat box to encourage me to move on. Is it making sense? Are you with me? Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. So let me just change because I'm a bit okay, so Jeff Bezos. Everybody knows who Jeff is, right? So Jeff says that your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. I mean, I think this is such a powerful statement. Because imagine for a second that your name came up for a promotion in the place where you are working today. And people in the room are the ones to define to determine your fate. If you haven't positioned yourself in such a way that your brand speaks for you, or that you've been visible to the right people, what do you think will be said behind your back? I want you to take a minute to actually think deeply about that statement because it matters. So what exactly is this personal branding? And personal branding is actually the conscious and intentional effort to create and influence the public perception of who you are by positioning yourself as an authority in any industry where you choose to operate. Because like I said, people already have an impression of who you are. Whether you have taken plans to create a personal brand or not, people have a perception of who you are. But when you are intentional and you make a conscious effort to create people's thoughts as to what you want to be perceived as, then you're in business. Then you're positioning yourself as an authority in your industry, such that if an opportunity comes up, your name will be at the tip of people's lips. Personal branding is the perception or impression of an individual based on your experience, your expertise, your competencies, your actions, and or achievements within an industry. And so I give myself an example. Skills Factory Africa, I didn't know them. But I believe I have positioned myself in such a way that my brand spoke for me when I wasn't in the room. They were looking for someone who would speak to career development for young people across Africa. And my name must have come up in someone's book. But I deliberately positioned myself, given the experience I've had in my 30-year career, you know, the various accolades and all that, I positioned myself. So my question to you today is, how are you positioning yourself? Most people associate brand or branding with businesses, but I'm here to tell you today that there is something called a professional brand or a personal brand. And it's like treating, you know, that brand, Google, let's use Google and not Coca-Cola, Google, you know, Samsung, LG, what are the other ones that come to mind? GT Bank, positioning yourself as an individual as if you were that brand. That's what it's all about. That's really what it's all about. So, because the digital world has revolutionized is the world, and we're now in the digital era, your personal brand isn't just restricted to the way you present yourself in public. It's just not about, you know, the traditional means of communication. So we must take into consideration this virtual world that kind of exploded. I mean, it was definitely there before the COVID-19 lockdown last year. But, you know, I think that the leaps and bounds of growth in the digital space and social media has been exponential given the stay-at-home we had last year. You know, so it also means that you have to represent or present yourself online in a certain manner, how you want to be perceived. Remember, every interaction you have with someone will either add or detract from your personal brand. Again, think about that. Every time you come into communication with a person, you either give a positive impression or you leave a negative one that will ultimately affect your brand. So the things I'm talking about today are what you say, how you speak, how you say it, how you present yourself, your mannerisms, the way you dress people, men and women, the company you keep, the words you use in your vocabulary, everything is speaking either for you or against you. And we're going to have some tips and tricks that we're going to use to help us create a brand that is attractive, that will attract those multinational opportunities. So why is it important? And the truth of the matter is customers' needs or clients' needs. I'm a lawyer, we talk about clients, but I don't know what industries are represented here. If you could do me a favor and type in the chat box the industry where you actually work, that would help give me a sense of who is in the room. So just quickly, everybody, help me type in the industry where you work. I will really appreciate that. But the way and manner in which customers problems are, they're so complex now. And so they need to have specialist solutions. Tech, healthcare. Okay, keep it coming, jewelry design. I'm looking, guys. So you need to have the required skill sets to provide them with the specific solution that they want. Customers' behavior has changed, and research has shown that most people actually do use search engines to find service providers. You can imagine last year made this so important because we all had to sit at home, and yet business continued. Sales were made. Some people capitalized on that digital space in order to scale their businesses. You know, so the way customers find the products or services that they want to purchase has changed. In fact, research has also shown that people who have personal blogs about maybe providing a solution, a service, selling a product, they do much more. They attract much more work than those who don't. You know, so these are all the things that we're considering today. So having a personal brand helps you to beat the competition, because the opportunities in these international or multinational organizations, they're not so many, they're very few. So you want to be able to stand out from the crowd and attract those opportunities. And even the opportunities you have right now, you want to be able to retain them. And so building your personal brand is a great way to demonstrate your value to the organization where you work, which can ultimately help you move up the ladder, as well as build visibility, which results in career growth. Are you with me? Okay, so your personal brand makes you build confidence and credibility in the minds of those to whom you want to attract. It makes them, give them confidence that you can deliver, that when they're looking for somebody to run that New York office, that your name will come up and they will believe that you can deliver on the goods. It also makes you build trust, between even the colleagues and customers that you have, and it boosts your reputation because you have positioned yourself. A lot of human beings have that subconscious mind. And once you can impress upon them a positive attribute of yourself, the chances are more often than not that they will assume that they will assume something positive about you in many other areas. There's something called the halo effect, where you have a personal impression of someone extends to every area of their life. And that's where the, what do you call them? Influencer principles were born. Why we love the movie stars and we love the artists. We've heard their music and we have a positive impression about their music, but you don't know them in real life. You may not even like them if you really got to know them, but you would give them the benefit of the doubt. And that's why influencer marketing is a big thing. Okay, a good reputation you have been able to build actually spills over. So you might be thinking here that I work in a company, why do I need a personal brand, or why do I need to build a professional brand? But any personal brand that you build that is positive spills over onto the organization that you are in. So it's very important that you try and do it. And obviously you're able to charge higher fees. That one was for anybody that is in the service industry. Okay, so let's keep going. So let's look at, because I was specifically asked to talk about, okay, so still on it. So one of the tools that you can use when you're trying to build, or position yourself for these multinational opportunities is your curriculum vitae, and your profile. And we're going to look at, a little bit into how to package it, how to put it together in such a way that is attractive. Obviously, public speaking and oratorial skills are important. Writing skills are important. Dressing and appearance, I cannot overemphasize dressing, because when you enter a room, before you have even opened your mouth, you're being sized up. So it's very important that you create an impression with how you look. Type in the box, guys. Create an impression with how you look. Let me know if anybody is falling asleep here. Type in the box for me. Create an impression with how you look. And then I always say, nobody is answering me, not one person. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we're talking. Thank you, David. Thank you. Kosisichuku. Senami, thank you so much. Yes, yes, yes. Now, I know that we've all been to school and we've graduated, but sometimes we have to be true to ourselves. You can actually know whether or not you have good writing skills. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that writing skills come into play when you are seeking for those international opportunities, because you will have to write, depending on the industry where you are. So I want us to be truthful to yourself. And if you recognize that you do not have the greatest writing skills, then go for the training. It can be done. Public speaking, I have gone for public speaking training, and I believe I was born with confidence and I'm able to communicate my message. But I still went for public speaking class. So it's very, very important, guys, that you try and improve on any skill that you feel you don't have, because you're going to you may be called to an interview. And if you get to that interview and you don't handle well in terms of how you position yourself and how you speak, you know, the next person that knows less than you understand? The next person that knows less than you, but goes in there with confidence, speaks well, writes, kills the written interview or whatever, has this fantastic CV well put together, they're going to get that opportunity. And finally, I always believe in the power of a career blueprint. Having a career blueprint, I cannot overemphasize it. Whether you run your own business, whether you are actually in a career, there must be a blueprint or plan that you are working with. Let us not move with the wind. Anything that flies by, we grab it. Let's have a plan of short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals of what we intend to achieve in whatever career or profession or business place that we are. It's very important, because when you are able to identify where you are and where you want to be, you fill the middle with the things you need to get there. Training, finance, networking, meeting certain people, and so on and so forth. Time. Okay, so this is just a graph I've put together to help you, because we can't really go in depth too much in this presentation today. I believe I have 45 minutes, and so I shall pick up the pace now. So in building your personal brand, these are some of the things I want you to focus on. The expertise and services you offer that are most relevant to the people that you're trying to either sell to or the opportunity that you're looking to get. Where is your hunting ground for those people that you're trying to position yourself for? Are there referrals? Are there blogs? Or is there thought leadership? Is there professional or industry conferences or associations that you can position yourself in? Because that's where they will go to look for the people to fill the opportunities that they have. You need to set up tools and materials that you need to communicate your expertise to this target audience, whoever it is, the multinationals. You need to communicate your expertise, put yourself where they will see it. I want you to also consider producing content that those people will find useful and informative. Imagine you're trying to get a position in Google. What kind of articles, what kind of content, what kind of information will be useful to them to demonstrate your expertise? And then track activities. See what is working for you. What are the things that have made them remember you, have brought opportunities your way? Do more of it. And the activities that you're now doing that don't seem to be yielding effect, you do less of it, and then stay current. Stay current, guys. A lot of people shy away from social media, but I found it to be a veritable tool in trying to build your personal brand and position yourself for opportunities. I have positioned myself for opportunities, and that is why I am constantly called upon to come and speak to budding entrepreneurs, career women, in my legal space also, the area where I focus on, which is intellectual property law and even healthcare. I see someone is in healthcare here. So, an internationally renowned recruiter called Kevadine says that consider your resume the same way you think of your business card. or your website or your interview outfit, your everything. Your resume is your everything. It's all part of the promotional package that tells me who you are. So you can imagine it's a total package of who you are. And so it's very important that it's created in such a way to describe in detail who you really are, such that it positions you for the right opportunities. So just a quick one about your CV. I just like to say, is there a way I can close this thing? I'm just moving it. Let's see, high floating. Aha, I've hidden it. Okay. So it must have the most current details. So we're using our CV now as a branding tool. Avoid using phrases that kill your CV, like saying that you're the best. Everybody says that they're the best. That's not what they're looking for in your CV. Be precise, and it shouldn't be more than 2 pages. In fact, I try to say, depending on the level you're trying to go for, 1 page is enough. Use vocabulary cherry-picked from the listing of the job or the opportunity you want. So when you're hunting for that opportunity, you will look at what they have put out there in their recruitment page and pick those phrases from that listing and use those phrases in your CV. And then show off your online presence, even in your CV, because believe me, they will check. And that is the easiest way. The way that clients and customers purchase their services now and products has changed. It's now, everything is online. And so if they search for your name online, the question to you is, what will they find? If they go to your Facebook page, even at the airport, I've been at the airport trying to enter a certain country. They stopped me. I gave them my business card, and they quickly did an online search, and my whatever profile in my office came up. It's unbelievable to me. The world has changed. So my question to you is, when they put your name into Google, what will they find? Are they going to find you partying the night away, smoking, what people smoke sometimes, drinking? Is that all that will be found? Or are they going to have an intentionally curated personal brand about who you are and the image you want to be in people's minds? Summarize and include any accolades you may have had, and then maintain a consistent format. The problem is people just pick, and then, it's all jumbled up at the end of the day. Okay, so sometimes people ask what's the difference between a profile and a CV, and I just thought I'll step on that quickly. A CV is specifically tailored to a business, while a profile tells a bigger story. So your CV that you're going to give for an opportunity you've seen, you would have curated it and tailor it to a particular business. However, a profile tries to say everything about you. A profile can be part of your CV to highlight things, certain things to employers, but it is not considered a full CV. A profile highlights the key qualities or purposes behind choosing to work in a specific field, while your CV may include other things that will qualify for key optimization. Okay, another thing I thought I should deal quickly, this one and one other topic, is visibility. How visible are you? Again, I think that social media helps, but social media is not the only way you can make yourself visible. There's traditional media. There's, speaking engagements. I think I have a list here. Let's see if we have. Oh, okay, it's not here. So, of course, it improves your skill, displays your value, adds value to yourself, and all that. But don't think only social media when you're thinking about visibility. There's traditional media, there's radio, there's television. Where do you put yourself that makes the opportunities to come? Where is the hunting ground of those people, those opportunities you're trying to get? Those are the things you need to bear at the back of your mind. And I also thought, I have 45 minutes in place, I have 4 minutes left. I always like to stick to time. Networking is key, guys. In positioning yourself for multinational opportunities, you must key into your networks. You have to leverage on the networks that you have. Who knows, we're very good at it in Nigeria. Man no man is what we call it, right? But even in the international community, it is a given that networking creates opportunities. If you look at the statistics, I didn't put them here. Okay, according to a LinkedIn global survey, 80% of professionals consider professional networking to be an important part of career success. 85% of positions filled in a certain study were filled through networking. Improve on your networking, guys. It can be done in different ways. This guy on Google, I listened, he said, hit me up on LinkedIn. How many of us have done that in the little time it took between when I came on and when he left? If you're sharp, you would have immediately taken his LinkedIn profile and gone and sent him an invite. It's important. But we all struggle with this thing called networking, and it is extremely important. And so we go back to the branding tools. I mentioned some of them, writing thought leadership, articles on the topics in relation to the products that you are selling. Guys, it's a digital world now. You must key into it. The website of your company or the website of your business has to be important. But not only the website of your company, what information does it say about you, yourself, even in that website? Are your academic degrees there, your awards, important projects you've worked on, important tools, these are important. I've talked about blogs here today. They demonstrate expertise, and I think they create the visibility needed to position yourself for the opportunities when they arise. Digital media platforms, I've spoken about them today: LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and the ones you young guys use, TikTok, Snapchat. I think I heard about a new one now. My kids came back and they're talking, I can't remember the name. So whatever it is, be current. When you are at a meeting, whether it's an industry meeting, whether it's a professional meeting, always speak up so that you will be seen. Join professional and industry associations. Network internally in your organization as well as externally. Sometimes people think networking is only about external, your brother, your sister, your professional colleagues, but internally is important because sometimes it's the managerial level that know when the opportunities outside come up. They may be asked to recommend someone for a multinational opportunity. And if you have positioned yourself and networked internally in your organization, then, you will be better placed to be chosen. So equip yourselves, men and women on this call today. You may be needed as part of the resources that you have. You might need training. You understand? You might find you need to train in order to enter that multinational that you are targeting. But whatever it is, be intentional about it, guys. It's very important. Save up and sponsor yourself to do that training that will position you better. And at the end of the day, you'll be happy you did. These are just some of the things, how you can equip yourself, obviously for professional branding, learn additional skills, take courses and certifications, core business knowledge, critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, emotional intelligence, guys, business development, risk management, basic digital skills training, leadership skills, sales and marketing. These are just some of the ones I have listed that I think are very, very important that those multinationals look for when they're looking for people to fill the few opportunities that come up. So I've got some quotes here. I said, don't just get noticed, get remembered. It's one thing to get noticed, but It's another thing to get remembered, right? So I want everybody on the call here to be remembered when you are trying to position yourself. Recognition for opportunities starts with visibility. If you are not visible, if you haven't branded properly and positioned yourself where you can be found, then, you know, what's the use? Be authentic to yourself, guys. Don't be a counterfeit of somebody else. A lot of the time we emulate those around us, but it's not about others, it's about you. Find out what makes you tick and make sure that that is what you push forward. Because I can tell you for free, people can spot fakes a mile away. Find innovative solutions. Think outside of the box, guys. You know, that's the kind of thinking that attracts attention. When you do things differently from everybody else, you get noticed. And be flexible and agile. I wanted to write agile. The agility is required in today's world. Don't take too long to take action. You've done this training here today. Pick at least one or two things that you will immediately implement and go for it. Don't be one of those people who goes for a training at the end of the day. You go exactly back to how you were before. Be open to taking up tasks in different things that, you know, that are even different from what you're doing now. Make your organization look good. And if you do that, I can assure you that when the opportunities come, you will be first in line to achieve it. And I think that is the end. Yes, absolutely. And so my advice to everybody here today, as my closing, is really that, let me just stop the share. You know, I'm excited to be African at this time. You know, I am really excited. Am I still on? Yes. Okay.
Yes, you are still on.
I'm trying to stop sharing. Okay.
I think it has stopped, yeah.
Yes, I'm excited to be African. I'm excited to be Nigerian. You know, I know that, you know, things don't always go the way we want it to. But I truly believe that there are opportunities that can position us for international or multinational opportunities. But I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to be deliberate and intentional about everything you do. And if you do this, you will position yourself such that you will attract those opportunities when they arise. Thank you very much, everybody. And thank you for having me.
Guys,
take some questions.
guys, keep the fire coming in. Emmanuel Amarachi, don't just look at me. Drop some fire right there, please. Drop some fire, drop some fire, drop some fire, guys, drop some fire. This is very resourceful. Yes, very resourceful, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you. Keep the fire coming in. Keep the fire. And if you have questions, please, guys, drop your questions. I have one question already, but please drop your questions. You cannot go through a training like this and not have questions. It's not possible. Even though myself, I'm an HR executive, I have my notes filled up already. You know, it's like I came for another refresher course on its own, you know, a course you pay for to learn. Do you understand? Thank you so much for that session. It's it's mind-blowing. Guys, these are things that you pay for. You pay huge amount of money for to learn. I remember one of the things she said, talked about the fact that after this particular training, you should go and just get a course to take and all of that. I remember I was part of a training, maybe about 2 months ago or thereabout. And the lady that was, I don't know if you know Jam, work with Jam. Then she was training and just a brief training. And she mentioned a particular course, a particular agile professional project management course, an agile professional certification course.
Yes.
She just mentioned it, boom. And I'm like, well done. Immediately, I went to register for the course. I did the exam and I passed the exam. And that's it. And there are some persons who were part of that class as well that just felt, well, it's just one of those things. But today I'm a proud SFC. I'm certified in Scrum fundamentals. You see, so it's about like you what all of the things you said today are very, very, very 100 over. It's 150%, if I can put it that way. 150%. Guys, please, I can read your questions. Let me go through to the questions so that we don't take because if I keep talking, guys, we know that this session is splendid. We know it is great. Please drop your question. We need to deal with some questions in here. All right. So someone said, David Omolewa, he said, Ma, as a recent graduate, can you hear me, please?
I can hear you.
Oh, great, awesome. Ma, as a recent graduate, what is your advice on drafting a CV, considering that the only experiences are industrial training, taking some certification courses, and occupying leadership position in school? For example, spiritual and academic activities, some awards given and some other skills because some people say they are not relevant in the CV because companies might not need it. So what do I do? That's from David Omolewa. I don't know if you want to answer that.
Thank you very much for that very, very interesting question. And I actually should mention that I have two graduates. My daughter graduated 2 years ago from a university, and my son graduated last year. He's a lawyer. And so awesome. I do have a little bit of experience in trying to build up the CVs of those in brackets with no experience. And the truth of the matter is, before you become an undergraduate and indeed a graduate, you already are a human being that has ability and has strengths and weaknesses. And so do not belittle the fact that you are already in existence and you already have, let's say, a personal brand even before you get the job. The person who you are applying for the job knows that you have just come out of school. So they're not looking for experience, depending on what has been put out there, because usually they will say post something experience of 2-3 years or 5 years. But if you're straight out of school, the person knows that you don't have the experience. So the skills they will be looking for are different. They'll be looking for maybe ability to work in a team. So you show that from where you were, from the school, whatever, leadership. Did you have any leadership positions whilst you were in the university? They want to know, did you do vacation job? I'm always telling my children, try and do something during the holidays to develop a skill. What trainings did you do? Do you understand? So don't feel as if you're at a loss. You have to know that that person who you're applying for the job in their organization knows that you are just a young graduate, and therefore you don't have this skills. But you must exhibit some other skills that are also relevant for that job, that don't necessarily mean that you have experience for that job. I don't know if that helps you, David.
David, if that helps you, drop in the comment box that yes, you got value from that, so we can move on. So I'll go right to the next question. I believe that is well explanatory and well understood by you. Okay, so the next question says from Joyce. Joyce is saying, for someone who is into different niches like customer relationship, digital marketing, and other things, how do you go about branding yourself to avoid confusion to your audience?
Okay, so when I was building my brand very earlier on, I had that problem. I kind of felt, because there's so many aspects of who I am. And I recently, learned that I needed to express every area of myself. But the truth of the matter is, you know how when you say something is centered, so I am the center. And therefore, those other things are branches of me. But people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And therefore, they need to know sometimes to know the person behind the brand. And that's why influencer marketing is so powerful, because it's human beings like you or I that people have now gained, kind of like by virtue of this halo effect I talked about, that are selling the brand. Do you understand? So you have to stand as you first before you branch out in the things you're doing. But back to the question, what someone now asked me when I was going through that dilemma was that CNN is a brand, but CNN has so many different products.
Yeah.
CNN has so many different products, and those products are so many journalists. You know, they have Something Africa, they have the one
Even
for
wildlife.
Europe, they have the one. Do you understand? So many, but CNN stands and is centered, and that will be my answer to you. That you have to stand first as the brand, and then you build out the different aspects of who you are. And as you're growing, you will know when you need to create a brand on its own. You will know when your brand has grown in one of the aspects of who you are, and that it can now stand on its own, independent of you. So that would be my response.
Thank you so much. Joyce, I believe you got your question answered.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
Great. Awesome.
You're very welcome.
Awesome. All right. So I have a few more questions. After that, we'll end the session. Okay. So someone is saying Uche Nana. I believe I got that name correctly. Is saying that, is it advisable to join your personal brand and business brand together on your social media page? Is it advisable to combine your personal brand, your personal page, and use it for your business page as well, like run it together? Is it advisable?
Okay, so it's very similar to the other question about, you know, doing different things. So I'll just tell you how I handled mine. So when I decided to go on social media, obviously I'm just a Chinyere Okorocha, lawyer, intelligent lawyer, legal service provider, 30-year career. You know, lifestyle is very important to me too. You know, so I just posted things about who I was and what I was doing. But I also had my law firm brand, which is Jackson Etiadedu, which I also post about on my page. Something attracts things. So if you're the person that has the ability to attract work to your organization by virtue of the fact that you have built out a personal brand, then by all means, you have to ride off the other. Do you understand? Because again, people like to see the face behind the product. But that doesn't mean that your brand shouldn't have its own page. But you have to position it such that each one feeds off its other, because you're also wanting to build the brand to stand on its own 2 feet. But in my case, initially, now that I'm building up my Heels and Ladders profile, for example, it doesn't stand alone on its own 2 feet. The name Chinyere Okorocha is more well known than Heels and Ladders. And so Heels and Ladders is riding off my reputation. But a time will come, I believe, when Heels and Ladders will stand on its own 2 feet. So it's not a bad thing to have the two in the same social media page, but you must create the page for the business, because your business is actually a legal entity that can be sued and be sued, can sue and be sued. So it should have its own identity. It's just that don't forget to, I guess, speed off each other is what I'll say.
All right, thank you so much. I believe that will be the last question we're taking. Let's just take one more.
I saw one question I liked.
Yeah, let's just take one more. So I think, is that which one of that?
The one about multifacets.
Okay, yes. I want
to
take that.
Different from the one you want.
No. That's the same thing I want to pick. For Joyce, I think your question has been answered already. The last question you're asking now. So for Evans Lucci, he's saying, I am a multifaceted person. Okay, so how do I concentrate on something when I'm good at, when I'm good at or have interest in others? So I
think you have to stand for something before you can stand for other things. So you must start with one thing and get known for it first. before you now start veering off into other areas. And I think the musicians and the actors and actresses do this very well. Or even the actresses, you know, you see they start by acting and then suddenly they open a perfume line or a clothes line. Do you understand? Or but they stand for something first. So that would be my advice to you. Okay?
Awesome, 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 awesome. Guys, I believe you've learned a lot here today. I've learned a lot. I can bet it. No one has ever written like I've written here today. My book is filled up. No one. No one.
Thank you so much, Paul.
You're welcome. And I'm a recruiter. So most of these things I know them, and I wrote them down, and I'm going to go back to them and learn from them again. So I want you to know that when you go for a session, no matter what you know before, jot things down. There are things you know that you don't know, that you don't even know that you don't know. You know, then when you now hear them again and go over them again, they sink. Do you understand? They sink.
Absolutely,
you know,
they sink in. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much for all the amazing content you've shared with us today, from growing your expertise for the future to hunting, finding the hunting ground, you know, creating content, doing activities that keep you visible, you know, your social media, for example, my current job that I'm doing right now, I never applied for the job. Someone just, I think the founder of the organization was just looking for an HR professional, and someone mentioned my name. I didn't speak with her that I was looking for a job. Someone mentioned my name, and guess what? She went online to search for my name on LinkedIn. And she said, whoa, I like this guy. I like this guy. And she called me up. And then we negotiated. I had just my interview. Even the interview was like a walkover. But at first, she had to hear about me and also go check me up online. And that was how I got the job.
You positioned yourself.
Yeah. So that's just it, guys. So this, if you don't learn anything from here today, let me say from day one, this particular session, please, if you go on YouTube, watch it over and over and over and over and over till if we wake you up in your dream, be able to recite what you've learned all over and over. Definitely, because the value right here is so massive. So thank you very much, Ma'am Chinyere Okorocha. Thank you, Okorocha, right? I think that's the best. That's the best way to pronounce it. Thank you so much, Ma, for all of this that you have shared with us. So guys, if you have learned, please type in the comment section, say thank you very much, drop some fire, say thank you. I'm waiting for your comment. Yes, we can't pay her. We don't have money to even pay her. Like if we were to pay her massively, we cannot pay her for the service just rendered. But we can say thank you. We can show her appreciation. So I want to see your thank you. Thank you. We are 23, 24 plus people on YouTube. Please drop your thank you message. Thank you message on YouTube, on Zoom. Drop your thank you message. Let our speakers see that you are really thanking now. Thank you, Dr. Esosa. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So, guys, thank you so much. So we are going to be dropping and drawing the curtain right here.
Are we taking a picture? We're taking a picture.
Awesome. Let's take a picture. So everyone, turn on your video while we take a group picture together. Turn on your video. All right. Okay. So once we're done, let me know. Are we done? Okay. Okay, great. Skill Factory Africa, are we good to go? Because I don't want to miss out. I don't want to miss out at all. All right, are we good to go? Yes, I believe. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So everyone, thank you so much. You can unmute yourself and say thank you. Unmute yourself, say thank you so much, Ma. Mute
Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you so much, Ma'am.
Love you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am.
Thank you, guys. My pleasure.
God bless you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God
So
bless
guys,
you all.
So guys, thank you so much, Ma. So guys, don't miss out on tomorrow's session. Don't miss out for anything. Tomorrow is Saturday. Once you are done with your domestic chores in the morning, please resume to class. Resume to class. You have not paid any money to learn from these sessions, but you don't want to prove people right by saying anything you don't pay for, you don't value. I want them to know that even if you don't pay for it, you are dedicated, you are concerned about your growth, and that is why you are here. And tomorrow you are going to prove anybody wrong and come up here and show up and learn. So tomorrow we'll meet again on the Telegram group. Make sure that you wait up to tonight for your information to be sure about what is going to happen tomorrow morning. So we have amazing guests as well coming up tomorrow morning, throughout tomorrow, by the way. So make sure you are set, you are ready and good to go. So guys, thank you very much for turning out tonight, this evening. Till we'll come your way same time again tomorrow. Bye-bye.